You know what I love so much about self love? Once you start loving yourself and who you are, you start differentiating what's best for you in life. It could be anything, decisions, life, medical, marital, whatever it is. Once you obtain that self love through discipline, you have this deeper love that you've never had before for yourself. You'll start caring for yourself in a different way that you've never done before. If you haven't seen my previous video, and my last video, I talked about feeling your emotions and taking it step at a time. And some days you're gonna wake up, you need to take it just a minute at a time, and that's okay. That's the beauty of the journey of loving yourself and having discipline and self-discovering yourselves. I have my famous laptop over here. And this is a quote that I found on the internet. Like always, I will say the name of who created the quote. It's only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is the essential is invisible to the eye. This quote was by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Basically, in this quote, he's just saying that the importance of following your heart is truly understanding what matters the most in your journey of self-discovery, or whatever it is, self-discipline. Knowing what matters the most can help you have a precise goals and how you want to reach it. I'd like to share an example in my life as I'm growing to love myself more and having self-discipline, self-discovery, self-improvement. As I am learning to love myself, I am learning to discovering what's best for me. There are things that would come up in my life, and I looked at it, I analyze it, and I summarize it. If it's not good for me, that has been rejected. I worked for a company for 2 years. The company started very good and eventually got really toxic and really bad. At the time, I couldn't leave because I need another job. It's nice to have two incomes in one, right? And during that self-discovering, I was not doing so great. I was struggling a lot, emotionally, physically, everything. I promised myself once I leave that job, I'm going to start again to really embrace this impact and this journey. I got a new job, which is amazing. And the first day, it was just a lot. It was a lot of informations, and I was really overwhelmed. What overwhelms me so much was that they had so many departments within the job that they needed me to know everything about it. And the expectation that I should have known everything about it, which made it hard. And I remember coming home after my first day, I was like, I don't think this is the right place for me. I just felt like I was this bird in this cage, suffocating, grasping for air, and I couldn't. The place, it was a good location. It was a good pay. The people there was wonderful. But the job itself, it was just too much. Coming from a toxic, very, very bad toxic job to a well overwhelming job, and the expectation, it just like emotionally, it was just not functioning together for me. And I remember I was like sad. I was really, really sad. And I even cried, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I found something better. And I think I'm starting back at zero again. So I sucked it up, go to work. The second day, same thing. I got trained by 8 different departments that day. And it was a lot. I was going back to the first day. When I started with another girl. I was supposed to be in a different department than the other girl, separated to an individual department where they needed us. So the third day come around, I'm like, I just have this pit feeling in my heart that this is not it. Third day comes around, I went to work, everybody was so happy to see me, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, oh my gosh, do you really love me that much? But they were very sweet. Come to find out, the girl that I started with back in day 1 didn't show up. She just didn't text, she didn't call, she just plain didn't show up. And that's where I realized that all these emotions I was feeling, it's not because I was lazy. It's not because like I didn't want to work. It's not because I didn't like the job. It was because I was so overwhelmed. It was so much information. At one point I realized like my brain was just not grasping what they were telling me because it was so much information. And I realized that she too was way overwhelmed by the amount of things that we had to do and we had to learn in a short amount of time. And making that decision to decide, like, in my journey, my growth journey, my self-love journey, my discovery journey, is this the right path for me? After, obviously conversing with the Lord and conversing with your spouse, with my husband, we decided that is something that we would not go forward with. I couldn't see myself going to work from super early, spend my whole day and come home to feel miserable, to feel like I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I couldn't grow how I wanted to grow. Emotionally, I felt the last 30 hours of my own personal hell. That's not a life to live. Life is good, but life is also hard. I share this example just to show you that sometimes in your journey, when you truly love yourself, you're going to start recognizing what's not good for you and what's good for you. In that moment, I realized I couldn't be a better wife if I was emotionally disconnected, emotionally drained. I couldn't be a good sister, a good friend to anybody around me. My environment couldn't be bright because it was so dim and full with anxiousness and anxiety. That's not the life I wanted to live. In your path, people will give you advice. Opportunity will come. You have to sit down and decide what is the best thing for you. What's the decision's going to help you keep growing in your journey? Because if you can't grow, then you shrink. You don't want to be shrinking every day in your journey. You want to be growing. I love that quote. You have to find out what mattered the most to you. And at that point, that job wasn't. What mattered the most to me? Continue loving myself, continuing self-improvement, continuing having discipline by being the best wife I can be to my husband, the best friend I could be to my friends, and leader, coworker, member, whoever it is, whatever it is in your life. What I would encourage you today is, what is one thing that you're doing that you feel that is not helping you grow in your journey? Once you realize that, what are you going to do about it to stop it? So that way you don't shrink in your journey, but you keep growing and growing and being better.